All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us for tonight's call. So before we get started, I'm just going to kind of read through a list of updates for everyone to do. I feel like I'm always preaching to the choir. The people that are on, I think obviously know all this stuff, but let me just remind you guys. So April 29th is our team dinner. I know if you don't live in New Jersey, that's probably out for you, but April 29th, we're doing a team dinner in Central Jersey, and we're having a Tony Robbins coach come and speak to us. I think it's like a 4-course dinner, and I think it's like $45. So, I mean, that pays for the dinner in and of itself, and then you get the Tony Robbins coach on top of it and some girl time. I'm going, obviously. May 6th in Philly is the playbook with Danielle and Tony and I forget the other guy. I always forget him. But that's going to be absolutely awesome, especially for new coaches. So that's May 6th in Philly for the playbook event. May 10th is when we register for Summit. So if you already have your Summit ticket, you probably got an email today giving you all these different tracks and what to pick and what workout. Jessica Bryson did an awesome video in the team page. If you're confused or if it's your first time going to Summit, make sure you watch that video. But we'll definitely do a Zoom call just for Summit things to make sure that everyone's on the same page, knowing what they're doing. But on May 10th, that is when you register for your track. I would say kind of look through that now, know what you're going to be picking, because when May 10th comes, first come, first serve. If you want something and it's already taken, you kind of have to have a plan B in place. If you are going to Summit, if you hit Success Club in April and May with a total combined of 20 points, you get a Success Club Summit party ticket. So last year, I think it was I got the ticket, but I didn't go to it. I think it was a concert with, I don't know, not Bruce Springsteen, one of those people, like an 80s person. But it's always something fun. It's always something good. I don't know. I think we had our team dinner that night. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't go. But I think it's something awesome to shoot for. I'm going to shoot for it anyways. So hit Success Club in April and May, and you need a combined total. I repeated that 3 times, of 20 Success Club points. All right. Enough with what's going on. We have an awesome special guest, Darcie. Alicia invited her to be the guest speaker for tonight. So Alicia, you can do the honors and introduce.
Sure. So Darcie is a fellow farm wife from Minnesota, believe it or not. If I'd probably known it, I'd probably signed up with her. But we've been friends for quite a while and have followed each other for a long time. And she's, like I said, she's from Minnesota, so we probably don't even live that far. And she is a 1-star diamond coach, and she is also a success starter. So she started, and she's also a team leader on the leadership ladder, and she's a Success Club All-Star. So that basically means that she has hit Success Club for 12 months or more in her business. And tonight she will be talking about how to kind of prioritize your business and your home life or family life. So take it away, girl.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Perfect. Okay, so let's get started. So I didn't realize there were gonna be so many of you. There's actually quite a few of you. So I'm really thrilled to do this because, so like Alicia said, so I'm originally from Minnesota, but I actually live in Iowa. And so I work full-time as a registered nurse. I'm a farm wife. And I actually had my first baby. He's 10 and a half months. I had him last June. So for me, the whole balance issue, it was a huge issue for me when I first started. So I actually started coaching in 2013. And believe it or not, yes, I hit Success Starter right out of the gates. I thought it was awesome. And then I got super overwhelmed with life. I couldn't do it. I could not manage coaching, and I couldn't manage working and being a farm wife. It just was next to impossible. So I took a step back and I decided, okay, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. I'm just going to be a discount coach. So I actually decided last January to step it back up, and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm not just going to sit here and kind of meander around. So I decided, okay, now's the time. So I sat down and I'm like, okay, what is my true why? And I think that's the number one key to finding the balance between like family and home life and work. If you guys work full time, is actually making your why stronger than what you thought it was. When I originally started, my why was just for something, I wanted just to be healthier for me. But then when I got pregnant with our first child, then I realized, okay, if I'm going to do this coaching thing, my why has to be stronger. So I work full time as a registered nurse, and yes, I would love to stay home with him. So that was kind of where it was kind of a changing point for me. So number one was redefining my why and actually digging deeper. Why do I want to stay home with them? I often tell this to my coaches and my challengers, why do you want to lose that 10 pounds? Is it because you have something coming up or you want to feel more confident? Not just listing out a why, but really defining it and digging deeper and actually creating a schedule based upon that why. So that was number one, defining a stronger why. The second thing I do is I do work 3 12-hour shifts. It sounds really super simple. Yeah, she only works 3 12-hour shifts, but I also help my husband in my spare time on my days off, and I also have my little sidekick with me. So what I do is I actually sit down and then I develop a weekly schedule. I sit down and I do that every Sunday. I sit down and I write out my team calls. I sit down and write who I need to follow up with for challengers. If you guys don't use TMZ, does anyone use TMZ to follow up with their people? It's team, so it's TEAMZY. And it's actually an internet-based program where you can follow up with your customers. So I plug into that and I go through and I follow up with my customers. I follow up with my potential customers, my clients, my challengers, my coaches. And I just create that weekly schedule. For me, creating a weekly schedule works better than creating a monthly schedule. I know for people who work normal Monday through Friday businesses, it's easy to sit down and say, hey, every Thursday night, I don't have anything going on. I'm going to sit down and use that as, my business building for the week or, my power hour. For me, it doesn't work that way. So I often tell my coaches that, if you have a busy schedule, sit down every Sunday and say, okay, this is what I have planned out for the week. This is what my power hour is going to be every day. These are my team calls, and just create that structure for yourself. I also include like my personal development, which is the third thing I wanted to talk about tonight. Making sure that you're actually doing that personal development and getting rid of everything else that you have going on in life. I mean, I hardly watch any TV because it doesn't fit in my schedule. But so getting back to the creating your schedule, like I said, I create one every single week, and it's just something that works for me. So moving on to number 3, which was the personal development. I think a lot of times people don't really think that personal development doesn't really fit into the whole balance thing, balance between life and family and coaching, but it really does. You have to really find a purpose with coaching. Your personal development and what you're reading is constantly going to change. It's constantly going to evolve as coaching changes for you. One of the books that I really, really liked when I first started coaching was called Make It Happen. And that was, I think it's by Lara Casey. Yeah, this one. This one changed me. It helped me dig deeper with my why, whether or not I was going to jump on board with coaching or kind of just take it back and sit in the back seat and not really do anything with it. But when I read that book, that was a huge game changer for me. So, if you're not reading personal development, that was a huge, huge, huge thing that I needed to do. Because reading my personal development helped me realize how much I was passionate about coaching and how much coaching was a big part of my life. For me, I listen to my personal development when I'm going to and from work. Yeah, that's only 3 days a week. But then at night, I sit in the bathtub or in the shower, I turn my personal development on. I am not the type to sit down and read a book. I listen to the Audible. So, if you're really struggling with, I don't have time for personal development, I don't have time to follow up with my clients, it's just a matter of sitting down and actually figuring out what do you want with coaching. You're either going to make it or you're not going to make it work. And the fourth one was having a goal or a vision board. And for me, when I first started coaching, and even with my current coaches, I really didn't take a goal or a vision board that seriously. I would make one, but I'd shove it away, and I would say, okay, I did it, but did I follow through with it? No. So what I have, and you can't see it, but it's a whiteboard above my desk, and I have my goals on there. I have my yearly goals, I have my monthly goals, I have my weekly goals. I have how many coaches did I invite? How many challengers do I have right now? And for me, it sounds kind of overwhelming, but that's just something that has helped me create that balance. Like I said, I've redefined my why. I've made sure that personal development is number one in my business. I've also made sure that I have my goal and my vision board present at all times. But I think the number one thing is just being able and being willing to do what others aren't willing to do. And I think that was something that, I still tell myself that you have to be willing to do what others aren't willing to do. And I think, not only in our coaching aspect, but also like in our personal fitness journey as well. You have to really realize, okay, like, what do I want out of coaching? For me, like I said, I don't watch TV. I have a power hour. And I also keep the communication open with my husband. He knows what I want out of coaching. And it's not anything specifically just for me. Yes, it started out that way, but now it's for my family. So making sure that your spouse or your significant other and your family is on board with what you're doing. And part of that aspect was my husband actually sat in on a couple of team calls. Every month I tell him where I'm at with Success Club, but it's just part of me keeping that communication open with him so he knows, okay, I need to take our little guy for an hour so she can sit down and do her business. So, just making sure you have that open communication with those around you and actually figuring out, what you truly want with coaching. So making sure you have that structure, making sure that you set aside time for coaching. Like I said, it sounds crazy that I don't watch TV. We have cable, but I just don't watch TV. When I sit down and watch TV, I find my mind focusing on coaching. And I know part of that is I really need to get down to the point where, okay, like I need to set aside coaching here and family time here. And I'm getting better about it. But part of that is just balancing out working full time. Some of my coaches ask me, with working full time, because I do have a lot of stay-at-home moms. And yes, I will admit sometimes it's hard to relate to them just because I have a different schedule than they do. And, a lot of times they ask me, how do you get your workout in? How do you get coaching in when you're gone for 3 days in a row? I do a lot of the Hootsuite or the Postcron where you can actually schedule your post. And those aren't necessarily like my workout posts or anything, but I will do like a post about like a meal or some fitness tips or, something that I've been struggling with, I'll post about it. But just making sure that you have, even your post planned out for the week. Like, okay, what do I feel like I need to reach out to my potential customers or my potential challengers this week about? And actually sitting down every week and digging deep and laying out an outline as to what you want to share. I get that changes on a week-to-week basis, but that's the beauty of it for me. I sit down every week and I dig deeper as to what I want to share for the week, and I develop my schedule from there. So that's kind of what I have. I'm really a really fast talker. Does anyone have any questions or anything else I can cover in regards to finding that balance?
I always have questions. So,
good.
How long have you said you've been coaching for?
I started in 2013.
Okay.
And I hit Success Starter like right out of the gates, and then I just kind of gave it up. I sat back and I was like, I don't really know if this is for me because I don't know what I'm doing.
How long do you feel like it took you to get this plan in place?
This plan specifically?
Yeah.
So when I got pregnant, which would have been last August, when it was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I'm going to be expecting our first child. So last August, September is when I was like, okay, this is it. And I sat down. I'm like, I'm going to do this every week. I sat down and created my schedule for the week.
And you said it was more that like you had a stronger why than before?
Yeah. When I first started, it was solely just for a discount coach. I happened to hit Success Starter just because I had friends and family interested, but I had no desire to coach. For me,
you were treating it more like a hobby.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I had friends and family come to me and I'm like, yeah, sign up, great. And I put them in my coaches challenge group, but I never followed through with them because I didn't believe in myself. And I was like, well, I can't work full time and do this.
I think that's a great note is like, don't just throw people in a challenge group and expect them to kind of like, or expect the challenge group to take care of them. Like you still need to be the one taking care of them. They came to you for a reason. And yeah, you might be posting in the challenge group, but like you still need to be in connection with them and like going through the experience with them and following up with them kind of behind the scenes too.
Correct. And I actually, so right now I do have some like newer coaches that are like fresh out of the gates that are just selling challenge packs like crazy. And I mean, they just signed up, so no, they don't have their own challenge group going. But I think that's one thing that I learned was, okay, I will let your challengers be in my group, but you coach them. And that's something that I feel like my coach didn't do. Yeah, she let my people go in there, but she didn't encourage me to coach them. And I think that was part of me just stepping back thinking, oh, okay, like this is not for me. But, you just kind of have, at the end of the day, if you're going to have people in a challenge group, you have to have a community where you support them and show them that, yes, they can get results too. Because you can't, like you said, you can't just throw them in a group and expect them to take off, because a lot of times you'll have people jump in a challenge group and they're so lost that they just give up.
And you have to be participating in your challenge group too. I feel like some coaches don't participate. It's like, well, if you're not participating in your own challenge group, then why would anyone else participate in it too? My other question is like, so are you from a small town? Like,
Yeah, very small.
So how would you say you've grown your network, and where are you finding like these rock star coaches now? Are they coming from your challenge groups? Are they coming from a like page?
So where I come from, I will tell you, it is very saturated with Beachbody coaches. Like I have one of my personally sponsored coaches just took a customer of mine, not even knowing. That's how small and rural it is. So I would say a lot of my like rock star coaches are coming. They were former challengers of mine. I put them in challenge groups, and I kind of follow, I really pay close attention to those that are really taking off. At the end of those 30 days or whatever my challenge group length is, I always bring it up and ask them about the coaching aspect. And I would say 9 times out of 10, all my coaches are coming from my challenge groups. Being in a rural area, that's one thing I've been working with my coaches on, is actually finding like your social media niche, building your avatar and figuring out who do you want to recruit. And I would say right now, most of my recruits, and I would say most of my business has been built off of Instagram. For me, Facebook, I've never really been able to actually like recruit people off of there. Yes, I've tried to build my like page and I pull my Instagram people over to my Facebook page. But for me, a lot of my business has been ran on Instagram. And it's just, I've been able to recruit off of there. I've been able to find my hashtags that I can, recruit customers, and just finding certain people that I can follow, I shouldn't really, how do I word this? So like, I'm a huge fan of Joanna Gaines. So I will go to her page and I will follow people on there and just start conversations with them.
I have no idea who she is. Is she a Beachbody coach?
No. Do you watch Fixer Upper on Home and Garden?
Oh, now I know who she is. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So like I've been telling, because I have some of my coaches that like follow like gym rats and all this stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so saturated with other fitness companies. So honestly, what I do is I go totally away from fitness And that's where I try to pull from. And it works.
That's totally smart. Yeah.
You know, because you build a relationship and you develop something that you have in common with all these other people, or like country music singers. Like I sound like this total redneck, but like country music singers, I'll go on there and I'll follow people, but I stalk them. I look to see, okay, like would this person fit in my team, or, you know, would I relate? Because obviously, if they're like a different trend than what I am, I'm not going to relate. But I tend to do that a lot to build up my followers on Instagram. So I think
like you follow them and then you comment on their posts, like, or do you is it called PM? I forget, or direct message them through.
Sure, yeah. So what I do is the 5-3. Oh, it's a rule. I have it written down somewhere. So I typically go on there and I will like 5 of their pictures, and I will comment on 3 of them, and then I will follow them. It's just something that works for me. If they don't follow me, then after a few days, I just unfollow them and move on. But it works. It's something that I learned at Super Saturday like 2 years ago. It's like the 5-3-1 rule.
And then how do you keep track of who you're adding when you follow them?
Yeah. So I am like a pen and paper girl. So I use TMZ for my current customers, or customers, if they're a free customer, they did a free challenge group with me, I plug them into TMZ. But when I'm building on Instagram, I'm a pen and paper girl. I write it down. I write their screen name. I maybe write like 2 sentences about what we talked about or something. Eventually, I do get them into a conversation and I pull them over to Facebook.
So on your Instagram, what do you post about? Do you post about health and fitness, or do you post about more things about your brand, your niche, what's going to attract your tribe?
I pretty much post about everything. A lot of it is fitness related, but over this last year, with being a first-time mom, a new mom, that has been something I've been really focusing on. Before this, or before I had got pregnant, I was focusing on like being a farm wife, focusing on like my nurses who work 3 12-hour shifts and have a hard time getting in workouts. But right now, I think we're all pretty familiar with our avatar is constantly changing as our life changes. So right now, over the last year or 10 months, I've been focusing on expecting moms, new moms, postpartum journey. I ended up having a C-section. So I've been going out and I've been talking with like C-section moms. To be honest with you, like my Instagram page it's 99.9% fitness, but I also include like nursing stuff on there, or part of the farm life, because I think it's important that when people come to your page, they realize that, oh, she's not just another Beachbody coach. I don't let it really well known that I'm a Beachbody coach. Like I don't have that on my profile or anything, but I do talk about their workouts, what I do, but I don't have anything that says I'm a team Beachbody coach, just because I think that a lot of times people get turned off by that. I have some people that are It Works distributors, and it's all over their bio that I'm an It Works distributor. Here's my contact. I don't have any of that, because I feel that is a huge turnoff to have that contact info on there.
I definitely agree. Yeah, like there's no Beachbody stuff saying I'm a Beachbody coach, or when I see, because if they come to your page and they see that you're a Beachbody coach, guess what? They're not going to follow you. They're not going to add you as a friend.
No,
that's kind of how it is. So how do you then convert those people into challengers? Do you invite them to your challenge group? Like, how does that conversion kind of go over? I'm a Facebook girl. So for me, Instagram, I've dabbled in it, but I haven't really dove into it.
See, it's either you do it or you don't. Like for me, I cannot recruit on Facebook. So what I do is, and I tell my coaches this, the number one thing in building a conversation is to take it slow it down. So I'll have the conversation go on for a good couple of days. Yes, sometimes it sounds absurd, like, oh my gosh, you're going to lose them. But for me, it just works that way. So I actually I do a free fitness group every month. So I often try to pull them into a free fitness group. I'll strike up the conversation. We'll be talking about something that we are both into. And I'll just say, hey, I'm not sure if you're familiar with, or if you've looked at my Instagram page at all. but I'm actually a health and fitness coach, and I'm running a free, like last month, it was a Rid the Junk Challenge. So for 7 days, we did no junk food, and I had a list of things you couldn't have. And I just said, hey, it's a free 7-day challenge. I feel like I really relate to you. Would you want to do this with me and see how it goes? So it's just a little conversation like that. Typically, those people that do my free challenges actually then get pulled over into a challenge group, because there are some of my normal challengers that are in my free groups that will post about their workouts and their shakes and such. And so I kind of pull them over that way. If the conversation that we're having on Instagram leads into something bigger, like with my moms, they talk about not being able to get their workouts in. I will often talk to them. Right now, the All Access Challenge Pack is a huge lifesaver. You can talk to them about all these different options. So I try to pull them over that way in the middle of the conversation and just ask, have you looked at my profile at all? Because obviously I've looked at theirs. I've conversed and striked up a conversation on numerous pictures of theirs.
Awesome. Great info. I'll stop talking so other people can ask questions. So guys, if you have any questions, just unmute yourselves and ask away. Anyone?
I feel like are your top personal development books for like new coaches, or there's always like the Compound Effect and Go Pro, but do you have any other?
Yeah. So Compound Effect is one. You Are a Badass is a really good one. I like that one. Sarah Robbins has that book, Rocking Your Network Marketing Business. Love that book. It's like this big. It's not really that big. But that one was huge. I've read it like 3 or 4 times. Make It Happen, like I said, is a really good one. I had another one in mind. Failing Forward. I recommend that to all of my new coaches because I think the biggest thing that they run into as new coaches is that fear of being told no. That fear of rejection, when they're out having those conversations, they're constantly being turned down. And so I recommend Failing Forward a lot because you just pick up and you move on. You learn from what you did. Maybe you completely word vomited over a person. But the biggest thing is just learning from what you did and growing in your conversations and growing as a coach and just moving forward. So Failing Forward was a huge, huge, huge game changer for me. I loved that book.
I'm just looking at your Instagram right now. Like, what do you feel like? Have you done ads before on Instagram?
No, I haven't. I have not. I've only done Facebook ads too a few times. For me, I need to sit down and research them a little bit more before I start pouring money into them. I remember at Summit last year when I can't remember who was the speaker at the general session. I can't remember his name. But he said, if you waste your money on ads.
Gary V.
Yes, Gary V. And ever since then, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am just wasting money on ads. So I honestly have not.
Can you repeat what he said? Because some of the people on the call are kind of new and weren't there.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, so the general session last year. So you will see like people like Melanie Mitro, Lindsay Matway. You'll see them like come across your news feed and they're having like 400 likes on a picture and it says it's a sponsored picture. Well, that's because they have paid Beachbody to advertise that picture. But Gary Vee actually said, do not waste your money on advertisements because Facebook and Instagram are constantly changing their algorithms. So once we all get the hang of, oh my gosh, I figured out how Facebook and Instagram ads work, they change it so they get your money, but you're not getting your likes. So I did change my Instagram profile to a business one, so there is a contact button now. So you can have it as a personal or a business page. So like I said, I haven't spent any money on ads, but I've changed my Instagram page to a business profile so they can actually hit the contact button and they can email me a lot easier. But otherwise, no, I have not spent any money on ads. I did a Facebook training once on ads and I spent money and I got nothing in return. So I haven't quite figured that out.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do you invite on Instagram? them? Like, do you do all personal invites?
Mm-hmm. So like I said, so I will go, so like think of who your avatar is. Like, what do you do for a profession?
Me, I'm home. I'm home with the kids. I have 3 kids.
You lucky duck. Okay. So like you are the perfect type, because like I have a lot of stay-at-home mom coaches. So you could easily go to like a hashtag of like stay-at-home mom,
Right.
you know, and just go through and look through different, you know, profiles that are popping up. And, you know, there are going to be profiles, like I said, that you just don't relate to. And you're going to know right off the bat by their pictures if you relate to them or not. You know, and just having a conversation with them. Like for you, it would be a lot easier because you can, you know, maybe they're taking their kids to a sporting event.
Right.
So going in there and maybe liking 5 of their pictures and commenting on 3 of them. So like that sporting event, you know, you can comment and just say, oh my gosh, your kids are so cute. You know, what age are they? Maybe your kids played that sport. Or if your kids are out of the house, you know, something like that. And just talk about you missing those days. And it's nice being able to be a stay-at-home mom and be able to have this opportunity. So right there is your conversation builder. So you just kind of wait, see if they come back and have a conversation with you, and just say, you know, maybe turn it into, is there anything that you do for fun as a mom? Because I know how overwhelming it can be as a stay-at-home mom. You don't get me time. Right there's your foot in the door. You know, if she says, no, I don't ever get time for me, or
Right.
I'm lucky to get a 10-minute bath at night. There's your opportunity to present, you know, hey, I get a 25-minute workout in every day and it's changed my life. Would you want to check it out for 30 days and see what it's like? You know, then you can do like the 30-day free trial of the on-demand or something like that. But, you know, it sounds really overwhelming. And sometimes I think we kind of overlook the opportunity of starting that conversation because we just don't know where to turn it into the fitness aspect. But if you can get like your stay-at-home moms to talk about what they do in their free time, or, you know, post baby, you know, it's never too late to work on post baby. So looking at hashtags like that, you know, getting a conversation going with something like that.
I feel like I'm doing both on Facebook. So I'm thinking like if I'm, you know, like that personal connecting with people privately, but then also with the big event invites where I'm talking to like 500 people and have no idea who's really tuning in or not. And I just feel like maybe it'd be smarter to put more time on just the personally inviting part. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm like trying to juggle both of those.
Well, that's something that I like told my coaches to do. Because like for me, like I said, I've never been real successful at getting people on Facebook. So I've always said, find your social media niche and focus on that. So from day one, when I decided, okay, like I'm either going to do something with coaching or I'm not, I thought to myself, okay, like I kind of get like what Instagram is doing. And for me, I felt like I connect to people better on there. So I'll get the conversation going underneath their picture, or, you know, sometimes they'll just go ahead and private message me because they don't want to have that conversation publicly. And then eventually, you know, if they have Facebook, I'll just say, hey, it's a lot easier just to message over on Facebook. Do you happen to have Facebook? And then I pull them over there and I continue the conversation there. From there, they can see like my invites to like my free group every month, you know, my challenge groups and all that stuff. But
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. And then do you run most of your groups on Facebook or on the Challenger app?
Mine are all on the Challenge Tracker app. So I do have a group on Facebook where I plug all of them into. And to be honest with you, I really miss having my groups on Facebook because I felt like my challengers interacted better with one another versus just me.
Agree.
But I have so many challengers that don't have Facebook, as odd as it seems. And they're some of my better challengers, and I feel like if I didn't run it on the app, I would lose them. And I don't want to do that. So I do have a group on Facebook where I plug all of my new customers into, and if they want to do my challenge group, then I pull them over to the app every month.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Last call for questions, comments? Going once, going twice. All right. Darcie, thank you so much. Alicia, thanks so much for asking her to be on our team call. Are you going to the Punta Cana?
No, I had to pass up my trip 2 years in a row because we're calving. And it's like Alicia gets it. It's like the busiest season for my husband, so I had to pass it up. But I'll be at Summit.
There you go. That's the most important one to be at.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good night, you guys.
You too. Take care.